What a revelation. We all know about the police barred list. This is a list for those who have worked in law enforcement who have been dismissed, usually for gross misconduct. Those on the barred list cannot get jobs in law enforcement for a specific period of time. And I say specific period of time because the list can be appealed. However, it was revealed by the Daily Mail last week that the College of Policing's barred list actually has a counterpart. And this could go a long way to explaining why police are allowed to resign or retire before they're dismissed, or at least why they do resign or retire. You see, once dismissed from the police and placed on the barred list, that does prevent you from getting another job in the police. But if you resign or retire before you're dismissed, then you go on to an advisory list, which means they could get another public sector role in the future. More specifically, before they get dismissed and put on the barred list. Now, the current College of Policing system is said to allow police who resign or retire whilst under investigation to seek new employment without the new employer being made aware of the allegations that they're facing. And this would be the same for police who are facing serious corruption charges or child abuse. Imagine a member of the public facing charges of abuse and not telling a potential employer. I mean, it wouldn't go down too well, would it? But apparently it's okay for the police to do just that, as long as they resign or retire before they're actually dismissed. The advisory list, according to the Daily Mail, is, as the barred list used to be, secret. Whilst the barred list has been open to the public and employers to search, this means anyone on the advisory list has practically no indication anywhere that something's wrong with them. And potential employers could be duped into hiring them. The advisory list is made available only to other police forces, the Home Office, the Independent Office for Police Conduct, and HMICFRS. Now, even though if a copper is found guilty of gross misconduct and dismissed and is eventually moved onto the barred list, because as we know this process can take years, means that any dodgy copper who resigns or retires can easily find alternative employment in that time before that even happens, whilst they're, sitting pretty, basically, on the advisory list. As an example, a Greater Manchester police officer who was accused of abusing his position to, shall we say, strike up relationships with vulnerable victims and witnesses of crime, Simon Beach was his name, was allowed to become a safeguarding coordinator at the Royal British Legion. A safeguarding coordinator for a predator. The Royal British Legion, it should be noted, had no idea about the investigation Beach was involved with when it requested a reference for him because of the no access to the public advisory list. The reason this was allowed to happen was because the investigation took a total of 5 years to complete. He was even on full paid suspension for 2 of those years before he resigned. And the Metropolitan Police Constable, 58-year-old Phil Hunter, is another one. He retired while an investigation was ongoing into him inappropriately targeting a woman who he was called on to do a welfare check for after her brother had killed himself. He managed to resign and then get a job as a cabbie. Just what you want, a predator working as a cabbie, as if there isn't enough to worry about. During 2020 and 2021, Leicestershire, Suffolk and West Mercia police forces saw every single police cretin who was eventually dismissed allegedly resign or retire before they were dismissed. So not a single police cretin was still in police employment at the time they were put on the barred list, according to the Daily Mail, meaning that every single one of them could have gone and got another public sector job in the meantime. And the scary part is that out of those who resigned or retired, 38 abused their position for a sexual purpose, 16 for assault, 7 for child offences or possessing indecent images of kids, 20 for sexual misconduct and 7 for domestic abuse or harassment. And these people could have gone on and got jobs with vulnerable people or worse, children, without their new employer having any idea of the ongoing investigation or any way to find out. I mean, it's outrageous. Obviously, we knew about the barred list, but the advisory list? I mean, who exactly are they advising? Because it certainly isn't the people who actually need to be advised. Unfucking believable.